I got peace all around me, ain't no drama these days. You won't see me when I'm coming. Hi, Sarvesh. Thank you so much for joining us on the Peace Project today. As one of my good friends, you know about my journey with, bringing more Ayurvedic lifestyle, more yogic principles into my life. And I thought you'd be the perfect person to bring on here because I feel like I go to you for advice all the time. I felt like having an introductory conversation with you about yoga not just being like a workout like a lot of people in America and around the world think of yoga just as some like way to sweat. I wanted to talk about how yoga principles and how they fit into a healthy lifestyle and how they help you cultivate peace.
Thank you so much, Raja. Thank you so much for having me on the Peace Project. I think the whole Peace Project that you've been doing, and like you said earlier, it's amazing as an initiative that you want to do it for others. And I'm very, very glad to be a part. And I will correct you. I don't advise you. I think we have conversations.
Yeah.
And I think both of us end up learning from each other. So yeah. Firstly, I think there's a lot of misconception about the word yoga because yoga, the misconception is yoga is sitting under a tree, yoga is only for women, yoga is only for about 40, yoga is an exercise, etc. But yoga is a lifestyle because yoga means union, which means unification of mind, body, and soul, which means even you and I talking right now is yoga. Firstly, people need to understand that it's just not doing pranayama or asana or whatever. I think the whole aspect of my Guruji says, as long as you're breathing, don't worry. And I think it's the only form of practice, I believe, that has a holistic angle to it, which is, I would largely put it in three buckets. One is what you do physically, which is asana. Second is what you do mentally, which is pranayama and dhyana, and breath work, etc., which is pranayama. And third is what you consume, which is your food. And this holistic kind of angle that one can give is possibly yoga, and India is the birthplace of yoga. So what better that can go from India to the rest of the world is yoga and Ayurveda are the two things that we're talking about both.
So I guess something that'd be practical for people that are just kind of getting into yoga to kind of ask you about is what's a great way to start?
The first thing is acceptance. You need to accept reality, right? You can't show a happy face on Instagram or any form of social, and then after you put your phone down, start crying and say, hey, I'm in lockdown and quarantine. I mean, if you want to cry, cry. You can do it in front of the camera or don't do it, right? That's fine. Just cry. There's no harm at all because it is an emotion, right? There is no like, oh, crying means weakness. Laughing means you're happy. There's nothing like that. Second thing is start being grateful, right? Start changing conversations of saying, hi, Raja. Sorry, Raja, I'm late. Instead of that, start saying, thank you, Raja, for waiting for me. This shift is very small, but it gives you a huge amount of gratitude. And when you start doing this, you start realizing your heartbeat changes and your breath, kind of inhalation and exhalation of breath immediately changes, right? And the feeling around you with people, when you're in workplaces, friends, etc., changes tremendously. So the first thing before you even get into the yoga practice or starting yoga or starting the lifestyle of wanting to be holistic in nature, you need to say, I am doing this not because Sarvesh or Raja is telling me to do it. Let me sit around and say, okay, I accept what is going on in my life right now. And from here, I think yoga is great. And let me get into it with an open mind. Just go for it and
like
just
my
enjoy.
Parents are, very, devout Hindus. They pray every day, but I can't get them to even think about sitting down and doing a few asanas, or like I'm just getting my dad into getting pranayam. So I feel like there's a big disconnect also within the community of understanding that you can't just do the mantrams, you can't just do the asanas, you can't just do one thing. It is a holistic approach. You have to do everything in order for it to work, but not to say that in order to scare people, just saying it in order that you can start with something as simple as gratitude. I think just the process of taking care of myself and realizing, okay, well, I feel better when I take care of myself has been the beginning of realizing that you can't do one part without the other. It needs to be holistic. And I feel like I'm just now getting to a place where I'm ready to start asanas.
To everybody who's watching this, people keep asking me, how do I start? Where do I start? I very clearly say, right, accept, be grateful. So gratitude is your first step. Second step is drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what water can do to your body and how it can genuinely transform. It's amazing. Where is mine? Mine somewhere there.
Okay,
So,
I have to on this little crystal thing that I got. I'm like very into
okay.
So
Is it, what is it? Is it pink sapphire or is
rose
it
quartz?
rose quartz? And the third is have dinner early before 7 p.m. These are very three simple things that you can start. Don't do Surya Namaskar. Don't have to like put your head around your head and it's like people just make things so difficult sometimes. So the people the moment you say start yoga, I can't wake up at 4 a.m.
That's
You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. to do it. You just need to do it.
Like, even my parents, when I got into, the quarantine and I said I wanted to get into yoga, my mom would call me every day and be like, did you do Surya Namaskar? You should do it 10 times, then 20 the next day. And, it's taken me 3 to 4 months just to wake up happy every day. That's been my goal, is when I open my eyes, I'm just so happy. And that has been, the journey. And that was through holistic eating. That was through water. It wasn't just through asanas, but now I feel that I'm ready. I think a lot of places, when you go for yoga kind of information, it's not rooted in our teachings. So that's why I really wanted to share your app with like the whole community today, and, let them know that they have you as a resource as well, and just kind of introduce you as somebody that, I'm influenced by, that I'm inspired by, that is helping me on my yoga journey. And, my fans are always asking me like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? So I just felt like having a conversation with you, on the Peak Project, and, pointing them in the direction of the Sarva app will be like a great way to get people kind of into the zone and, into your community as well. So they can ask you all the questions I ask you,
Thank you so much. That's really, really kind. And I'm very grateful and humbled and honored to be on as a part on the Peace Project. Holistic living needs to be accessible to all. And I genuinely do think that needs to be a part of the hierarchy of, important things like, shelter, food, etc. Holistic living needs to be a part of it, because, you need to live holistically. And I know people don't, it's not easy, etc. But, impossible says I am possible. So why not?
Well, I feel like the best thing to do is live through example, like show through example. And so that's why I just wanted to start this project, share a little bit of our conversations that we have on a regular basis about this, and, just, give people a new, access to information. So I appreciate you so much for coming on for this like very introductory chat about holistic living. And, I hope you come on the Peace Project again. I feel like this is something we should
anytime.
Doing,
Yeah, absolutely.
relating to
anytime, anything for you, Raja.
Thank you so much.